Today, police shutter a rebooted cybercrime marketplace and arrest its admin. A malvertising wave misuses trusted AI chats to deliver Mac malware. And a critical flaw in Llama threatens to leak server memory at scale. Here's what happened and what defenders should do now. Welcome to your cybersecurity roundup. I'll keep this brief, direct, and focused on operational impact so you can update plans and controls without the noise. First, police shut down a reboot of the Crimenetwork marketplace and arrested its operator. German authorities dismantled a relaunch version of the long-running criminal forum and marketplace, reporting that it had generated more than 3.6 million euros before the takedown. The key facts are straightforward. The relaunch was active long enough to move significant funds, and the administrator is now in custody. This matters because when law enforcement targets criminal infrastructure, activity does not disappear, it shifts. Payment channels, fraud supply chains, and access broker traffic often migrate quickly, which can alter exposure for financial institutions, e-commerce, and hosting providers. For defenders, expect displacement. Tune fraud and abuse detections for sudden changes in tooling and tradecraft. Refresh threatintel block lists tied to the marketplace's known vendors and services, and coordinate with legal and compliance teams to handle potential data requests. If your organization relies on risk signals from underground sources, update enrichment feeds and watch for impersonation or rebrand attempts as displaced actors look for new homes. Next, attackers abuse Google Ads and Claude.ai shared chats to push Mac malware. An active malvertising campaign targets users searching for terms like Claude Mac download. Sponsored results appear to reference Claude.ai, but clicking through leads to content that ultimately instructs users to install malicious software on macOS. The core facts. The lure uses legitimate ad placements and legitimate-looking shared chats to earn trust. And the payload is Mac malware delivered via deceptive download instructions. This matters because it blends two reliable trust anchors, paid search placement and recognizable AI tooling, to bypass user skepticism and, in many environments, technical controls that treat major ad networks and well-known domains as lower risk. For defenders, assume users will encounter these lures. Prioritize controls that reduce reliance on user judgment. Enforce allow listing for software installation. Deploy DNS and web filtering to block known malvertising domains and suspicious redirection patterns, and prefer direct navigation to official vendor sites over search-driven installs. On macOS specifically, confirm EDR coverage, monitor for new launch agents and configuration profile changes, and watch for suspicious macOS persistence patterns. Finally, a critical vulnerability in Ollama threatens to leak server memory at scale. This flaw allows attackers to read and exfiltrate sensitive data from system memory, potentially exposing large volumes of confidential information. Attackers can exploit this flaw to compromise infrastructure and disrupt services at high volume. For defenders, immediate patching and verification of all Ollama-based systems is essential. Monitor for unusual data access patterns and consider network segmentation to isolate sensitive workloads. This is your cybersecurity briefing. And alert on unsigned or newly seen binaries executing from user-writable paths, such as downloads or temporary directories. Review proxy and endpoint telemetry for ad-click referral chains tied to sponsored results. And reinforce user guidance that official desktop apps should only be obtained from trusted distribution channels, not from content embedded in shared chats. Finally, an out-of-bounds read vulnerability in Ollama allows remote process memory leak. Tracked as CVE 2026-7482 with a CVSS score of 9.1 and nicknamed bleedingllama, researchers say the flaw likely affects more than 300,000 servers globally. The key risk is clear. A remote, unauthenticated attacker can trigger reads that expose the entire process memory of a running Ollama instance. This matters because large language model runtimes often handle sensitive prompts, embeddings, and integration secrets during normal operation. A memory leak at scale can translate into data exposure, model interaction leakage, or credential compromise. And the broad internet-facing deployment of Ollama makes opportunistic scanning practical. For defenders, treat this as an urgent exposure management issue. If a fixed release is available, patch immediately and redeploy. If you cannot patch at once, remove direct internet exposure, require authentication, and place instances behind a reverse proxy with strict access controls and IP allow listing. Monitor for anomalous responses, crashes, or unusually large responses that may indicate memory disclosure attempts. because memory leakage can expose sensitive material, rotate API keys, tokens, and any secrets that may have been resident in the process. Inventory all Ollama deployments across environments, including test and edge nodes, and confirm they are not bound to 0.0.0.0 without controls. Add temporary WAF rules, IDS signatures where available, and ensure logging is enabled at the proxy layer to capture potential probing. To close, these three developments share a common theme. Trust boundaries are shifting. Markets go dark and reconstitute elsewhere. Ads and shared chats can be turned against users, and an LLM runtime can become a data exfiltration risk overnight. Keep visibility broad, minimize implicit trust, and move fast on exposure management. If this briefing helps you stay ahead of change, subscribe for more practical updates, share it with your team, and let me know which controls you're prioritizing this week.